They stood in a manorial hall of a vasty awesomeness, hugely beamed ceilings, winking metal-armed knights, pegged old pieces. On the farthest wall, dominating even that Valhalla, leered a gargantuan mask of comedy, and on the opposite wall frowned a twin mask of tragedy. They were carved out of time-bitten oak. Between them, from the ceiling, hung a prodigious candelabra of wrought iron, its iron candles outwardly innocent of electrical wiring. Out of a door set in the farthest wall now stepped a queer figure from the past, a hunchbacked ancient, bald, bewhiskered, wrinkled, wearing a tattered leather apron like a blacksmith. The district attorney and Inspector Thumm looked at each other, and the inspector muttered, "Are they all old men?" The old hunchback came spryly forward to greet them. "Good day, gentlemen. Welcome to the hamlet." He spoke in clipped and creaking tones, grotesquely, as if he were unaccustomed to speaking at all. He turned to the old man in livery and said, "Wisht, Falstaff." And District Attorney Bruno opened his wide eyes even wider. "Falstaff?" he groaned. "Why, it's simply impossible. That can't be his name." The hunchback ruffled his whiskers. "No, sir, he used to be Jack Penna, the actor. But that's what Mr. Drury calls him. This way, please." He conducted them back across the booming floor to the same little portal from which he had come. He touched the wall. The door slid open. An elevator in this courtier-haunted place. Shaking their heads, they entered the cubicle, followed by their guide. They were whisked upward. The elevator softly stopped, and another little door popped open at once, and the hunchback said, "Mr. Lane's private apartments." Massive, old. Everything was old and flavored and redolent of Elizabethan England. Leather and oak and stone. In a fireplace 12 feet wide, topped by a solid beam bronzed by age and smoke, a small fire was burning. Bruno, his brown eyes alert, was suddenly grateful for the heat. The air was slightly chill. They sank into great old chairs at their guide's gnomish gesture, crossing glances of wonder. The ancient stood very still near the wall, grasping his beard. Then he stirred and said, quite clearly, "Mr. Drury Lane." Involuntarily the two men rose. A tall man stood regarding them from the threshold. The hunchback was bobbing his head now, a weird grin on his leathery old face. In spite of themselves and to their own helpless consternation, the district attorney and the inspector found themselves bowing too. Mr. Drury Lane strode into the room and extended a pale, muscular hand. "Gentlemen, I'm delighted. Please sit down." Bruno looked deeply into gray-green eyes of utter quietude. He began to speak and was startled to observe the eyes drop sharply to his own lips. "Good of you to receive Inspector Thumm and myself, Mr. Lane," he murmured. We don't know quite what to say. You have an amazing estate, sir." "Amazing at first glance, Mr. Bruno, but only because it presents to the 20th century eye, surfeited with severe angles and anachronistic quaintness." The actor's voice was serene, like his eyes, but richer, it seemed to Bruno, than any voice he had ever heard before. "On closer acquaintance, you will grow to love it as I do. The hamlet, one of my colleagues once said, is a backdrop, a scenic effect with the proscenium arch of these lovely hills as a frame. But for me, it lives and breathes, a chunk out of the best of old England. Quasi." The hunchback stepped to the actor's side. Lane's hand strayed to the ancient's hump.